Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hyperloops podcast. This is your boy Bobby Sapphire. Here with my two teammates, starting with Shane Serdapi. What's up, Shane?
Hey guys.
And my hetero life mate, Honestly Sarcastic. What's up, Joe?
Hello.
And we're bringing you back-to-back podcasts. This is the second week in a row we're podcasting. We could and should possibly be doing other things, but we're talking about Star Wars Destiny for you all. If you're watching on YouTube, I apologize for being in the dark. I only have natural light up here, so that's what we're dealing with. All right, so we don't have a long agenda today because not much happens in a week when we're playing Star Wars Destiny. Before we get started, do you guys have anything you want to share about your lives or anything great to give your audience?
Go ahead, Shane. All you, baby.
My life, I'm going to take down my lights in a little bit.
Okay.
Take down my lights.
Like your Christmas lights?
Yeah, my Christmas lights are going down, and as soon as we're done here.
Oh, no.
I didn't even put those up.
God. My we don't even take down our tree until April at least.
Oh, my God. Like our HOA, I guess you don't have an HOA. Our HOA, they at least can't be on past a certain date, like the 15th of January or something like that. So
are there a lot of HOAs where you live? Yeah, I would, like up here, they're pretty spare. Like, they're not prevalent, and I would never, ever live in an area with an HOA. I just would refuse to buy a house.
I'd be fine with it. So when I was first looking for houses, I was actually looking at HOA houses. But then all the ones I looked at literally turned to be in like elderly neighborhoods. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because elderly people want to tell you how to live your life.
Oh, you really can't find a neighborhood around here unless you're closer to the downtown that doesn't have one. Like all the suburbs have them here.
Good God. Yeah, it would drive me crazy.
But like, are they all cul-de-sacs or something? Like, I don't understand. I've never seen HOA unless it's like
they have like I live in this place called Persimmon Point, right? And that's the
it's a development,
right?
And
it's a development, yeah. And then there's like 3 other developments right next to me, and then you have to go find somewhere that's not a development area.
Yeah,
you won't get to that until you get to like 20 minutes from down.
Yeah, we don't have as many development places here.
Yeah, it's all spread out. I live in the land time forgot. It's all farms where I live. All right, sweet.
I want to say we were perpetrating with that question because that was the thing we complained about way back. We didn't sit there and tell people about our days, and that's why we didn't.
I didn't know it was going to be like a real life thing. I thought like maybe it would have some relevance to Destiny or gaming or something. But Shane went with Christmas lights and HOAs, so whatever.
All we need now is a little parakeet.
Oh God, this wasn't that bad. We've been going for 2 minutes. If people didn't want to sit through that, hopefully they hit the forward 30 a couple times. So biggest news, I guess, to talk about is the Covert Mission redelay. It's duo delayed. We had it on good authority. Alliance had confirmed that it was coming out the 17th. And then, when was it, Joe? Friday night? Late Friday night. The upcoming page was updated with, what was it updated with, February?
Yeah, it said February.
Yeah, and so all the CM is expected to come out in February. There was like an hour, and then Matt Holland responded in the Discord and said he'd look into it, and then maybe like 20 minutes after that, all the dates were just erased and had no dates whatsoever. So it went from being January 17th to announced as February, and then being removed altogether. And he said he was looking into it, but that they don't control their release dates. And the reason why that is because they're owned by Asmodee, who does all their production and distribution through Alliance, and FFG doesn't actually know anything. They just get told when their stuff's going to come out. They design the games, and Asmodee North America does everything else.
Yeah, and I don't want it to sound like the sky is falling, because like I truly believe, since I think FFG does the website, that somebody is messing up the website and didn't know what to do, and so they just changed it. Reverted it back to show no dates.
Wait, you think FFG doesn't do the website?
No, I think they do the website, and they don't know the dates, right?
But who's updating it at like 10 p.m. Eastern on a Friday?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I think something just got broke. I think somebody uploaded a bad config file, a bad template to a certain page, and it just messed with it, so they fixed it so that it just didn't show dates, and they were going to deal with it Monday. They're going to fix it Monday, right? They broke it late Friday. And we're like, well, how can I make this workable for the weekend where I don't have to stay here all night to fix this? Got it workable, and it's going to do the final fix.
So you think
that's what I do when I work.
So you think everything's normal, and that's still going to be January 17th?
I still think it'll be January 17th.
Okay, so let me throw one monkey wrench into your whole Gears,
The X-Wing?
Stanley Sprocket. Yes, the X-Wing. That my local store posted that he got an email from Alliance saying that the new X-Wing wave, which was also to be released on January 17th. I don't know if I've been saying August, but January 17th is delayed and will not come out on that date. And initially, because that news broke like very small, like I posted it in one of the X-Wing groups and like got no comments. And it's not Destiny related. I thought maybe they were going to hold X-Wing so that people wouldn't use it, like want to use it at LVO the way FFG is letting Destiny get used at LVO. But then this other thing happened even like a couple hours later, and that makes me think that the whole shipment is borked, and it's somewhere like the boat got hijacked again.
See, and that's where I think the issue came in. They were trying to change it for X-Wing only, borked the whole upcoming page, and said, "Screw it, we're just going to make this all just not show dates, and we'll fix it next week when we get some clarity on what is and isn't."
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's just the trouble with recording on a Sunday, is that we probably will get answers to this on Monday, maybe even before people listen to this, so...
But that's good, because then we got to speculate first. So we could just be like
True.
widely correct or just super duper wrong.
Content.
And we get all this content because we're just like, yeah, speculate. We don't have answers.
So, I know a bunch of people were troubled because they had, like, booked for, like, flights that day, Thursday and Friday. I know Jack from Golden Dice said that he booked that day running Onion, like, figured out a broken combo with one of the new cards here, probably Kanan, and realized that he wanted to go, so he booked on Friday. And then for that to all come crashing down is sort of like a letdown. People don't necessarily want to travel to the Las Vegas Open just to play on the same, it's the same set we've been using for about 6 years, but, obviously slightly new meta over the course of the last month.
Yeah, I mean, I bought boxes. I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy boxes now. We're good. Now, I would not have bought boxes. I still would have go to LVO, but I wouldn't have purchased as much product as I just did.
But usually after delays, people will let you return those orders.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I bet I could return it, but I don't know, right? So I'm not going to go return it now until, like, I guess Jack and them had non-refundable flights, right? So, like,
yeah, I mean, the flight can be tough for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can go, cancel an order, but I feel that feels terrible to like the person. I especially when people are like reaching out. Like I know people at local stores and they're like, "Hey, I need to cancel this because I don't know. I feel bad about it, but I probably should. If they do delay it, I probably will.
Especially if they did you a favor or something. Nah, it makes sense, but like, I don't know. What is this? This is the last set in the grouping, so like it also stays around the least amount of time. It's really tough. We skipped out on Across the Galaxy last time. But it was probably the set that I had to buy the most because I'm like, oh, I'm going to play a Falcon deck. Oh, I'm going to play Lando. Oh, I'm going to go play this. And I was like, why am I playing all these legendaries? And like at the end of this, I thank Jesus that I didn't play Jin. But like me and Bike Thief or Matt Ranks, he actually had to bring me my Jin's Blaster at Nova that I played and won with. And he was like, you can't beat me with this. So then we played in finals, and it was like, he's like, I want my dad back.
Yeah, that's always the best feeling when you loan something to someone. You're like, yeah, I'm taking that back. I'm going.
Yeah, but I bought it. So
you bought it? Oh, then he has no legs to stand on.
No, but we had agreed where if I beat him,
it was part of the sale.
Yeah, I had to pay him double or something. Like it was something insane where if I beat him with it, I had to pay double.
I hope that die rolled hot. I hoped it rolled.
I think it did. It was not the Sardapi die. The Sardapi die was real terrible, and we found that out at Nova or Gen Con?
No, I was trying to play at Gen Con, and you were like, that's a terrible card, and I'm like, oh yeah, it is. Then I tried it out and like blank on the rerolls, and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is a terrible card.
I didn't want to pay the resource. I was like, it makes sense, but I didn't want to pay the resource.
At Nova, win with it, and like, oh, Gym Blaster, real good.
I was like, Gym Blaster, it's like handheld. It's a third handheld. It has redeploy. It's handheld.
I make all these points for Joe, and it's like, oh no, that's trash.
We didn't have ranged sides back then.
You did. Oh.
I know, I'm lying. So sorry. I'm sorry.
Anything else to say about the Covert Missions delay or anything like that? Supposedly they said the OP articles this week, right? Another CM article and the OP article this week?
Yeah. If it is delayed, I think that is just such a blow, right? Everyone got so excited for LVO.
See,
How many blows can we take? How
how many
blows can we
people
take?
get excited for LVO?
I mean,
A lot
people
of people.
bought
Well,
tickets.
they came out
right?
real quick, right? Like Gandorko immediately was like, as judge for LVO, we're gonna take CM, and then Matt Holland actually got the okay on it, and it was like, oh, okay, this is okayed. There was nowhere in there that was like, yeah, don't worry about that, guys, because it won't be there. Like,
Yeah.
they're just like, yeah, that's okay, you can okay that, and
But
they're
how?
like,
So
oh,
how many
okay.
people do you think signed up on that news?
I know of at least four people that bought in because of that.
I'm
Okay.
going with 10. I have
10
no
like
idea.
is
$1,000.
10 is astronomical. That's absolutely absurd.
We can ask them.
We can, and we will never get an answer because we'll never get to 10. And you'll always just say, "Oh, we got to keep looking, bro. We got to keep
No,
looking."
no, I mean, like, I'll ping them and be like, hey, who signed up?
Text them right now. Let's go. I want an answer by the end of this pod.
Shane, go
You're
message.
not. You're not texting.
I'll find it
anybody.
later. I'll find it later. But I'll ping Zion and them have been very open with their.
Yeah,
I think they
ping
said it
Zion. I
was-
physically can't change the
Yeah.
screen from recording.
Oh, I want
They
you to
will,
do it from your
yeah.
phone. That's all. All right, fine. You guys talk. I'll do it.
I got it. I'm just gonna go to Discord.
Oh, Discord
just-
phone. I was thinking
I
text
think-
message. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I think there was an influx after the LVO message, so we'll figure.
All right. I just think that, like, even if 10, which is just ridiculous, there's no way 10, but even if 10 people signed up, like, that's just such a small amount of people anyway. It does suck, and a couple of those people are, like, well-known in the community, at least. But that doesn't, like, shift. It's not going to change any minds, I guess. It's not going to, like, change anyone's viewpoint. I think, like, things are already bad, and having a couple people get blown out by bad news is just par for the course for Destiny.
Well, see, and I think there's a difference though. Like, 4 people that I know signed up. There were probably at least 10 to 15. I'd say probably. I'd go as high as 20. I would say wasn't soon enough, right? We're less than a month out. The cost of plane tickets. If it was been a month or more from that, like 2 months, they would have been like 20 people going. I guarantee you, if you were asked like, hey, if you could go to LVO, if I paid for it, would you go? Yeah, they would go. Like, it's just more of a financial and planning thing.
Yeah, and I think, like, maybe a lot more people would drive to it that are semi-local, which is, like, pretty normal. They would treat it more like a prime. But I don't know how many people were flying to LVO that weren't already going. Just, I would say a handful.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel that when people thought it was getting too close, they were just kind of dropping like flies from going towards it. And then once CM was announced, they were like, okay, cool, let me book. Because they were just a lot of people just wanted the information. They didn't want to play an old meta. They wanted the new stuff. So, like, new hotness. And they were like, all right, let's go. And then they were just like, yeah, no. Or maybe we're at a maybe. I guess we're at a maybe, right?
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they pulled it right away is a pretty good maybe. So there's a shot. Because just no one has the answer. Because they did this on like a Friday late.
Yeah, hey, I hope it works out. I just yeah, I don't know. I just think that this is just the way things are, and we already know that.
For life in general, I like to just be like, yeah, it's gonna be the bad thing, and just live with it.
Yeah.
So that when the good thing happens, I'm happy. But
I mean, that's why I signed up.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
I signed up because I was like, oh, it's close enough. Maybe we'll have something cool there for CM. And then they announced it'd be legal. I was like, oh, that's even a bonus. Because I couldn't wait till like the announcement because the tickets were just starting to skyrocket for tickets.
Yeah. I think it was like 150 or 200 last time I tried to check, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna. I decided not to go myself.
Yeah, I couldn't
the prizes
find.
were the big for me though.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to go play a grand. The X-Wing grand prizes are cool, and I was going to do that, but I couldn't find flights that were cheap enough for me. And then if like it worked, I might have played Destiny, but it wasn't going to be my main priority. All right, I guess we can move on from that and talk about results from the weekend. There were 3 primes, 2 of which were won by Raylo, and the third was won by Palpatine in an all-Palpatine final. My article for the week, which will be posted on Tuesday now because this podcast will be posted on Monday, is all about the rise of Palpatine and how he's kind of like really risen in the meta since the balance and restricted changes. But what do you guys think of this Raylo resurgence after, a lot of people sort of quietly hyping is probably an oxymoron, but like talking about how Raylo, should be better considering it wasn't hit at all. Like not a single bump from the restricted or balanced list. So thoughts on Raylo winning 2 primes this weekend? Both pretty good size.
I'm actually a little confused because I'm looking at the Your Destiny page. Was Illinois this week as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
It was
Chicago.
That's Chicago.
Chicago, yeah, and that was just Palp versus Palp.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, because I saw the Houston and the Louisville, and I didn't hear much about the Chicago one.
Yeah, it was 3 Palps in the top 8, and the final was Palp versus Palp.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think Raylo winning is pretty standard, right? Palp's in a good spot. Raylo's in a good spot versus Palp. Snoke Mando Mud is also in a good spot, and it's a fair fight because you get so many shields that it's hard for Snoke Mando Mud to punch through feasibly.
Yeah, kind of weird though. So the breakdown was there were Chicago had like 9 or 10 Palps. Louisville had 5 or 6, maybe 7 Palps, and Chicago had 1 Palp, and it was a Palp Beckett.
No, it's not Chicago. You're talking about Texas.
Sorry, Texas had 1 Palp, and it was Palp Beckett. So that one had absolutely no Palp, and then the Louisville one had a bunch of Palp, but it didn't do well. And then Chicago had a bunch of Palp, and it did do well because 3 in the top 8.
But like, if we look at the Texas one, there was a lot of hate. There were a lot of Plo Koon decks floating around the top tables. So that, and Raylo was doing well there. I think at some point, pretty much stand to crush it. Iden Beckett was there in the top 8 as well. So it's just problematic when you're playing against like Snokes and Idens and all that stuff. There was actually a Chopper deck apparently in the top 8 there too.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect some people to play 5-Dice Chopper. It just seemed like the meta was totally wacky this weekend. We'll get to like the Louisville top 8 in a second, which was just completely bonkers. But yeah, just a little more on Raylo. It is strong. It had a decent. I don't know. Did it have a decent showing at Worlds? I feel like it was around the top, but didn't really crack the top because there was too much 3-wide villain.
Raylo?
Yeah.
There was one in the top 8.
There was one in the top 8.
Casanova?
Yep. Yeah, he knocked me out.
On our stream.
That was his stream. He just stayed on for all 3 rounds.
He did.
He was like, I just want my Brazilian people to be able to see me. Yeah, I don't know. Raylo's good. My article's all about how like red Palp is probably better into Raylo than the yellow Palp. And like Philippe from Canada, he sent me like a long email about why he thinks he won. He won his Ottawa regional with it. He beat 3 Raylos along the way.
Seems reasonable. Yeah.
But I think Raylo's in a good spot in general in the meta. Like, it didn't get touched. It was already powerful. Everything that was crushing it got hit.
Every ramp deck known to man got punched in the dick.
Every ramp deck. It's more flat now, so you're gonna see Palp, Snoke Mando Mud, and Raylo. That's what I expect.
Yeah,
and Plowox.
And Plowox. Which can generally, it can burn down characters very fast, Raylo can, and shield up pretty well. So that should be a fairly decent matchup, I think. But Plowox is always scary no matter what.
It's just Plowox can just auto beat Palp.
Yes, Plowox can auto beat Palp for sure. Yeah,
and it's a really good spot versus all the 2-wides, which is what we're seeing a lot of.
I think a lot of things can auto beat Palp if it wants to. It's such a weird deck. Like it has more silver bullets than maybe any other competitive deck we've ever seen. Like just hard counters to it. And
the thing is, they're not as hard counters. They're all soft. So like when you hit with
the Mind Extraction, I guess there's like no hard counter, but Mind Extraction is pretty rough.
Yeah, but so is Scorched. But the thing is, there's just times where they don't do anything, right?
Or you're gonna really play 2 of this just to play lots of it and then not draw it, or play 1 of it and not draw it, right? I mean, these are just
that's the nature of Destiny. It's just bad. Packing bullets is bad.
Yeah. So I feel like Palp's okay with that because you're like, oh, you draw your 1 Mind Extraction, I lose, but they're just gonna be that okay with like the 60% I'm into the field kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, because if it gets out of hand, Palp is just out of hand. You can't come back.
Yeah, it depends on what happens. Like if it goes like a bunch of 1-drops and then you're just like, all right, here's a Mind Extraction, it feels bad. But like I played against it and it came in after I activated, and I just tapped my guy next round, but he didn't have like damage coming at me, so then I pretty much gave up my round, went into the next round, and then Like, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't change the state of the game. You do have to apply pressure after. I get that. So you want to hear this Louisville top 8? It was
Yeah, I see it.
Raylo, Yoda Leia, Snoke Mando Mud, Grievous Sentinel Messenger Greedo Droid, Maul Mando Retribution, Bo-Katan R2 BTL, Han 4 Jin 2, and a red yellow Ewoks. That is some jank.
Rough.
I'm glad you guys wanted to podcast. Can you guys fucking talk? Jesus Christ.
I'll try, but like,
will you?
I'm trying to be nice at the same time. We get yelled at when I'm not. Come on, man.
Well, I'm yelling
It's
at you for
shots
not
fired.
talking, and I'm yelling at you for being rude, so...
You're drunk.
Pick your
Take
poison.
more wine. Take a sip of your wine.
I'm drinking bubbly. I'm an old man
Yeah.
drinking seltzer.
Where are your White Claws at?
I try not to
They were
drink
for
before.
they were for last night. I'm assuming.
I had those things. I had Moscow Mule intravenously. And then a lot of
Injected
weed.
into his bloodstream. I don't know, man. I always felt like we look at top cuts and we're just like, oh, there's a bunch of random shit usually.
Yeah, this one just feels even more.
Yeah, because there was a bunch of them. So you're just like, oh, Bo-Katan R2 and Han Jin? What the hell?
Yeah.
But like
4-wide villain.
4-wide villain deck, and it's like, all right, they were all one-ofs, fine.
And
But-
I think that's a symptom of the meta, right? Like people just don't want to play. You got just a grouping of people that didn't want to play that are probably good. I think Destiny Council took the Bo-Katan, right?
No, that was
who-
Jimmy DeHand from Entourage.
Oh, okay.
From
Entourage,
Sons
yeah.
of Mandalore.
Yeah, I feel like they're just people are getting bored, trying new things, and more people are doing that. So, Jank's gonna come rise to the top because it's playing other Jank, and the better Jank will win.
Anyone that's looking at this, it was not Elite R2 on the picture. We show the thing. It's just a single die R2.
Oh yeah, I don't have a picture up of it.
Okay.
Because it's BTL.
Yeah.
Yeah, single die R2.
I don't know. Like, it's tough to go with some of this stuff, right? Like, was the deck real hot or was it not? Like, I think the Yoda Leia being there is proper. I think we should have been
For
seeing
sure.
Mill still. I think you just don't care about Resistance Ring that much. It did broken stuff in Yoda Leia, but I think in every other list, if you couldn't focus well, it was irrelevant. Like, the bartering setups were really cool. They were actually really disgusting.
They were disgusting,
But-
yeah.
But just being able to have no answer pressure was kind of nuts.
Yeah, but I think that the no answer bartering, the ring bartering wasn't even good enough to make like the mill decks good enough in my eyes. So to see Yoda Leia thrive here, even when they did take a small hit, is kind of crazy. And it doesn't shock me that Raylo won this event because the entire top 8 was non-meta. And when I say non-meta, it's like, maybe or fringe meta, but they're not established tier 1 or tier 1A decks, and Raylo is. So Raylo probably just steamrolled everything.
Yeah. It's also the
Oh, I
fact
guess
that
Snoke Mando Mud's there. My bad.
Sure, but it's just, those were the top two, and it's just like the other decks could have just been struggling with like fine tuning.
Yeah.
Maul Commando's been around.
For sure.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like, so some of it's fringe, but it's just not A tier.
Yeah,
And I'm surprised there's not more Mill. Like, I think Mill's also set up to be in a really good spot. Like, I think the only bad matchup for Mill right now would probably be a Raylo because of the ability to flip his own dice and take away the shields that they probably can produce. So I think Mill can come back as a Yoda Leia right now in this.
yeah. I don't think it should be gone. It should have never left.
Yeah, I just think
Yeah.
I just think it was a crazy top 8 and just really fringy. And I mean, if people are bored and trying new things, that's awesome. And then it also shows that in like these small events, 35 people or whatever, you can play something crazy and go 4-2 and make it. Or
Indeed.
possibly 3-2 in a 5-rounder. So
Yeah, just got to play strong and hope.
yeah, you just got to play tight and
All right.
hope to have good breakers.
Any other thoughts about these results that I think we don't care about? Sorry, guys.
No,
Sorry,
congrats to all the
Congrats.
winners.
Yay.
All right, let's talk about new cards. We'll talk about a couple directly, and then if a couple pop up, sort of naturally, we'll talk about those. I'm gonna put it over my face since no one can see me anyway. So let's start with Pong Krell, who's a 15 points for Elite. Jedi leader for villain. He's the first Jedi villain, which is pretty cool. Hoping that they do a villain Barriss Ophi too. So he's 11 health, 1x, 2x, 1 focus, 1 discard, 1 resource, and a blank. You can include up to 4 different blue hero cards in your deck. And after you activate this character, you may place a hero card in any player's discard pile on the bottom of their deck, then deal 1 damage to a character. I think that ability is pretty sweet.
I think it's pretty caca.
Why?
It's because you have 4 total cards that you can put bottom, and it's only in what? Probably not. Maybe half the matchups, I guess. Like if you're lucky.
We originally did this. We thought we could do like doubles. It actually has to be 4 different cards.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like-
because it says different. Okay.
Yeah. So they're all one-ofs. We already got the ruling. You don't get multiple copies of the 4 choices. And just I don't know. Like I don't want an effect that I don't want to pay this much for this guy and this crappy die to then be like, oh my, I played against Villain. I didn't get one of the 4 cards to cycle, and once it cycled to the bottom, without something that redraws from the bottom, I don't care.
Right, and they have to be. I feel like they have to be events, or one of them can be an upgrade that you're going to throw away, right? Like or play.
Crackable supports or something.
I can't think of.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to be looping this stuff. I think it's just a cool ability to add an extra damage on activation. His die sucks. His cost is too high. His like non-static abilities, like whatever. I just think that's a cool ability to put a card on the bottom to do damage. That's all.
That's fine. It's totally a cool ability.
That one's cool. Yeah, I'll
but
agree with that.
Ponkrell sucks.
Yes. Okay. As long as we're there, because like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I like this guy. I like this ability.
I
like,
think
I'm
like
like,
design wise, this card is awesome.
Yes, yes.
A villain Jedi, a villain that can play hero cards, and a guy that auto does damage by putting cards back on the bottom of a deck. All those things are awesome. They just they do this thing where they put all these abilities on someone that are pretty good but not like broken, but they treat them as broken and overcost and nerf the die, and it's terrible.
Yeah. So in like 2 sets, if they exist, we'll see this guy for 13 points.
Yeah.
Right.
So and teach me, because I'm a Jedi noob, not as bad as or Star Wars noob, not as bad as Joe there, but why? How can we have a Jedi villain? Like,
Oh, this is great. So he's from the Clone Wars, and he was.
I've seen him. He's a general, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
He went bad. Yeah, he went rogue. He was purposely throwing battles and getting his clones killed. And then when he got found out that he was a bad guy, he was straight up just murdering clones and everything. He was like with Dooku.
Yeah. I saw him doing that. I just didn't know like. But would he still be a Jedi then? Right? Because like, I don't know.
Years later, he'd probably stop being a Jedi.
I mean,
but at that point, he's probably Sith.
I guess like. So he can't be a Sith because there can only be 2 Sith, but he can be a Dark Force user. Here's the thing, like what makes you a Jedi? He took the oath, he was a Jedi. He's not a Jedi, he just happened to become a villain.
Why is Vader not a Jedi?
Yeah.
Because Vader was already a Sith when he became Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker should be a Jedi, and all Anakin Skywalkers should probably be Jedi except for like little Annie. But this guy was a Jedi, he was a Jedi leader, and he also happened to be a bad guy. He didn't like renounce the Jedi, he just renounced the Republic.
Okay, so he announced the
I
Republic.
mean,
so it's like,
it's a 20-minute show. You can't. We're not
Okay,
like
no.
getting into the
Why
paper.
can there only
like,
be
I
2
didn't know if there was like something in the comics that I'm missing. I only saw the show, right? I didn't know if he had like something in the comics that some lore that I didn't know that. Made
I'll
him...
say this: I'm sure he was thrown out of the Jedi Order very soon after this card was frozen in time. But like,
Hold on.
wait. We're gonna get to your question in a second. But listen, like, all they're really doing is having great design, a cool, interesting design. He's a villain. He can take blue cards, but now I can take like Jedi Mind Trick in my villain deck, right? It lets me do all the spot Jedi stuff.
Yeah, I get the design stuff.
Right, so they just they took all the cool factors, they did it in this one snapshot of time where he can be all these great things. Joe, you have Covert Missions open?
I have it open, but why did it so?
Rule of 2. New plot.
I'll look it up soon. I don't care about that. But anyways, so I think they didn't go 14 points because they didn't want you to pair it with Kira and then have a bunch of like yellow hero cards to actually shuffle to the bottom because they didn't want it to be good. So I'm assuming somebody on their kitchen table playtesting was like, Kira Pong, oh my god, this is amazing. Easy pick, shuffle bottom, put it in bottom, easy pick. Oh.
Between Pong and like Qbert, you could just call that deck Atari.
Atari. Okay.
Do you
So
still
what
want to
about
know
rule
what?
2?
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's just the rule. There can only ever be 2 Sith at a time. And the whole idea is like you kill your master and you get your own apprentice.
I don't know.
But to be sworn Sith, there can only ever be 2.
So Darth Maul in Rebels isn't Sith then? Right?
No, because basically he was never the Sith master, so he doesn't decide. Palpatine was the Sith master, and he cast him out and replaced him with Dooku.
Okay, so it's always the main guy, and then whatever person he's raising.
Yes.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you aspire to kill your master, so you can be the main guy, and then you make your apprentice a Sith.
Got you.
Then the Fifth brothers, they're not Sith at all then, right?
They're Inquisitors. Yeah, they're just random Jedi users. Most of them were fallen Jedi.
Okay.
So was Dooku the apprentice before then?
Dooku was the apprentice that he replaced Maul with Dooku. Dooku was like another acolyte that he was training. So Dooku was a Jedi, but Palp used Dooku's money to make the clone army because Dooku was like rich as balls.
And he was the only Sith though that they knew about, right? Because like Palp was in the shadows. I don't know.
They only knew about Maul. They didn't know who his master was. And it probably would have been a cool element for them to be like, Dooku was probably the master. But they didn't believe that Dooku was evil anyway, because he was a Jedi, and they said it's not in his character. Fucking Jocasta Nu. What an asshole. Jocasta Nu was definitely banging Dooku, but whatever. That's a different story for another time.
Welcome to the Explain Joe of the Star Wars universe, because in his mind, this is all bullshit. Where's my Jedi wife and master?
All right, fair enough. All right, let's move on to Kanan. Kanan. So Kanan and his lightsaber. Kanan is a 9 health, 9 cost, 12 point for elite Jedi Spectre. This character's point value is decreased by 1 if your team has another Spectre. Of course, that triggers let me check out that Spectre plot. That means like when you have Kanan and the plot, you're essentially you're able to build a 32 point team. Whether or not these guys have been balanced to take that into account is another thing, but you are still like double cheating it. So his ability is after you activate the character, you may choose a symbol and a die. Then an opponent turns that die to a side not showing the chosen symbol. This die is 1x, 2x, discard, shield, resource, blank. And do you want to talk about the lightsaber right away, just so you can talk about it all at once? Do you want me to?
Yeah, we can go into the lightsaber right after.
Okay. So you guys did a reaction pod with ABG. So anyone who's a Patreon subscriber of the Loops or ABG have already heard your initial takes. But you said you thought it was worth, after doing some playtesting, diving in. So why don't you guys break down this card and why it's so good, or not?
So I thought it was interesting for the proposed 11 points because of like Chopper. And just like the different setups you get there. If you go like Elite Chopper, Elite, Kanan. I'm calling it Canon, and I don't care anymore. You have 8 points left to get that rainbow going, and you've got the sticks, you got access stuff. And if you go like a Hera, you get the other Spectre plot. So then you can sneak in that 5 die, get all the Chopper stuff, got the Kanan stuff, and do cool things. So it's like, all right, there's a sticks concept there for rainbow, and it's been. I don't know if we've ever really had like a rainbow stick deck, but then technically at the end of all of this, like Hera doesn't have sticks anyways, so it's irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
But there were options there for doing that, or if you just go an 8 point, like I don't know what the new Boogard thing is, but there might be like an 8 point stick character that's just like jank. Akashic Warrior might be 8.
Yeah, Akashic Warrior.
Yeah, Akashic Warrior 8. So then you could do rainbow stick now, which is definitely a nice concept. Like the die side's really tough though. But we just thought the ability was overall cool because you can kind of hate your opponent's stuff, and if you can find the correct dice, you got really good options, right? Like if you have, I don't know, like a Luke's ship, then if you hit the blank or the shield, you could roll out, call the other one, they have to flip you to damage. So just things like that were quite nice. But we were just like, this is so-so. Until we get to a later card, but I will let Shane continue. Go ahead, Shane.
That's all right. So yeah, you can talk on the talk. So yeah, I agree. We thought it was cool, like all the concept stuff. That was really the initial reaction. Like, hey, this is a mind puzzle that you can go and have fun with. After a little bit of testing, though, here's the question, right? Like, do you take him at 12 ever?
The answer is probably just no. Like you have to have the Spectre, I think, to take him elite. To even consider it, because at that point it's Ezra with 1 more health, right? Like you lost I think Ezra doesn't have a shield side, it's disrupt, so Ezra can draw cards.
Yeah, Ezra's ability is so much better.
I don't think it's that much
No,
better.
well, that it's better, but like I don't know. I guess it's arguable at that point.
Yeah, but the effect is really strong for just kind of harassing the opponent a bit with it. It does put them in really tough situations with at least some sort of die. There's going to be some die where you're just like, yeah, whatever. Like someone hits a resource side, you roll out, you call like the whatever the damage side is on it. It's going to have to go to something else. But maybe you don't want to see them with disrupt or discard or shield or shield or blank.
Yeah, so I feel like rating him as by himself, I think he's slightly aggressive. I think you only really want to play him when you get another Spectre. And if you get another Spectre, I mean, your options then become even more limited, right? You're thinking yellow for Chopper, or you're thinking blue with the other Ezra, or yellow with the crappy Ezra. And I don't think you're ever going to play him with the gun Ezra. I just don't see a world unless we get something weird where we can make your opponent claim early. So then you're looking at like Hera as well, and Hera's like probably one die, also ranged. It's just nothing feels good at that point. So then you're probably thinking, okay, I'll try to do all three, and it's like, oh, okay, I got the sticks like you said, but where's your engine, where's your ramp, what's there's nothing really broken about that. So I think you're gonna see a lot of him with one other Spectre, and it could possibly get there. I know we were just playing 3PO, E3PO, E Chopper, one die Kanan, which felt pretty good, but there were times when I was playing the deck and was playing against Joe, so I'll let him tell him his side of it. But I never felt like Kanan was doing enough, and I was like, man, I just wish this was R2. And actually, I got R2 round 1, the support, played it down. I'm like, oh, I'm going crazy with this. This is good, but without that support, I wonder how good that deck would have been, right? And
you probably would have got beat up because you would have been short resources, like in the first game. But like the dilemma still was that the cannon caused issues for me on my die sides. Like, but I had Luke and Luke's ship, so every time that hit a range, you just like Luke cannon range, and I'm like, oh, it's on like blank or shield. Like, oh my god, I hate this.
Yeah, like so it actually worked the other way, right? So if it hit the only time it really worked was when you hit the resource. I had to call, because if I call ranged on.
Well, Luke's ship doesn't have the resource side.
Right, shield, whichever. I'm trying to say is like the only time it really worked on you was you can't turn it to a range, so you'd have to turn it to the resource or blank, which you'd always just turn to or shield, right? You got some value out of it, which I don't know. Really the power came from when I was able to do 5s to you.
Correct.
And that was only when I got the light.
But that's the next card. But realistically, I think it's really good at kind of stopping whatever die hit the max side. So, Vader 3 hits the damage side. You're just like, all right, whatever. You call damage. The die is probably going to resource, but at least it's not the damage side that you were concerned about. So it does harass the opponent enough. I think on your own dice, it's going to be too hard to get real strong value out of it. But if you are content with any of the control sides, then you have options there. Because if you hit it and then you hit anything that's not damage, and you just call one of the other non-damage sides, they're going to have to give you damage or some side that you can resolve, because you're pretty much always going to call blank, and you're just turning into discard resource or damage, and maybe they don't want the one there. If they don't want the one, now it's just like limited. Can you 3PO into multiple discards? There's just like some shenanigans that you can do off of your own, but the main one. And do you have any other thoughts on this, Boba?
Before you get to the lightsaber, I just wanted to say, like if you think about just playing sticks against Dooku 2 and just like getting your sticks turned repeatedly is just like such it was just so brutal to play into. And obviously you get a little bit more value here by being able to change it to a non-blank side. But I still think it can be like really rough for a player to have to deal with that. But yeah, go ahead, talk about the lightsaber.
Yeah. So the lightsaber is very scary. Once ever I find it. So the lightsaber is 3 cost, 2 melee, 3 melee for a resource, plus 3 melee modified, 1 shield, plus 2 shield modified, blank. It's an upgrade weapon. It's Kanan Jarrus's lightsaber. After an opponent's die is turned, you may turn this die to any side. Then if this upgrade is on Kanan Jarrus, you may exhaust it to turn one of his character dice to any side. So the thing here is that you would roll out Kanan, force your opponent to turn their own die to a side that whatever, and then you could flip this to the +3 and Kanan to the 2, and you'd have 5 right away. You'd be like, yeah, whatever, your opponent can mitigate it until you start introducing crazy stuff like instigate. and you just do it all off an action sheet. So now you're just straight flipping into at minimum 5 damages, and your opponent won't have an option.
But you need that saber.
But you need the saber. You have to draw the saber. But like it's fine. Like once the saber hits, you're like, oh god. And if you have a bunch of other sticks, it's really useful. So like that's where kind of going one die Kanan makes lots of crazy sense, because then he just won't be killed, and at some point he'll pick it up, and he's like, let's go. And he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, it also doubles how many you can run NCA and Ewok ambush at that point if you only have single die, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you
And then
more action sheets. But I like, you know, Shane made this comp earlier. Like, is it better than R2 or is it not better than R2?
R2's better earlier, but the dilemma is that like someone's gonna go kill R2 or 3PO when you have them both, right?
Yeah.
And in that scenario, they're gonna leave him alone. So at the end of the game, you're gonna have all these action sheet activate rollout kills options, and that's the hope. If they kill him first, like you've just got to use Chopper and 3PO all game.
Well, do you think
So-
that that's the only lineup, or do you think that there are other decent lineups?
There's probably some other lineups, but because you have
Yeah.
to find this, you want time, and then you really don't want him elite, because then there's just no reason not to kill him, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely understand that you don't want him elite. I'm just wondering if there are any other decent lineups. Like,
Yeah,
if you
there's
looked at
probably all
anything
sorts of
with,
crazy.
you know, Zeb, or even just. Can't you do Zeb Hera or something like that?
You can do one die Zeb, one die.
Hera, 2 die Zeb.
Yeah, I think.
Two-
Zeb's
Zeb-
11 though for one die. That's why it's a
Yeah.
big issue
But it's 14,
for 2
Eight.
dice.
14, 8, and 8. 14.
And then you plot.
Yeah.
Hera's 9, but you
Yeah.
would plot to get her 8.
Right.
Yeah. But
I'd rather just have Chopper there, I think.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, I'm excited to play a Beltalast. I'm even wasting a point for the Beltalast, but I think he's better than Ayla. I was talking about that, in that regard there.
With
because
who?
of this,
With Zeb?
with because you're not with Kanan, you're allowed to, like, you get the flip. When I was having problems, is like I was rolling Ayla out, getting her special, and being able to turn, or I wouldn't get her special, but her dice so good that it's like, oh man, I want to take whatever I get, and it would just be awkward. This one gives me a little bit more. I can make people turn. I can use Mace Windu's saber, which is all like 3 symbols. So is Obi's,
Not Mace's, like
so is-
Obi's and Qui-Gon's are the one I think you're looking for.
Well, so damage size, right? So like, if you consider the special, it's only 3 symbol, or it's if you consider damage size, right? So, it has 4 damage sides, a shield, and a blank. So if I roll the shield and I name blank, I'm getting some damage out of it. Probably the 1, but that's worth it just to get some more damage out of it.
Yeah, but that's why I like the other ones, because if you do it with Obi's, then you're just getting damage, right?
Yeah, Qui-Gon's is the best, I think, there. Where it's if you hit, no, because if you hit the blank,
You would have to
call
hit the
shield.
blank. But any of the dice you're hitting blank, like with those ones, you're just gonna have 2 or 3 damage.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be good, just to get more damage out. But then I also want to try this Kanan Chopper Youngling built to last 3 wide with yellow E Kanan E Chopper Youngling, and see how that goes. Because getting a lot of cheap upgrades quickly, if you could just ramp them, then you could just push the damage.
Yeah.
I think.
There's some crazy stuff, but then like when you think of that team and you realize it's 21 health,
21
you're like,
health.
oh.
That's crazy. That's well.
It's like, oh, it's all this stuff. 21. Shit.
Are there any like Yoda options potentially with him, or no? Not really.
I don't think. Yeah, there's no Yoda. Yoda's 10, right?
No, I think he's talking about Big Yoda, 18 point.
Oh no, I was talking about little Yoda, just for like
Oh.
to finance shit. Yeah, because you get 13, and then you get 9 is 22, 21 if you can find
Get
a
a
Spectre,
Spectre.
but that doesn't leave much.
Joe was thinking what? Satine, Chopper, Kanan. Double Satine, 1 die Chopper, 1 die Kanan. Get you.
That still left you a
30.
point.
So left you a point?
Yeah. No, I was talking about Elite Cannon, Elite Chopper, and 1 die Annie. Because Annie will flip the Chopper die.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
and you have 2 yellow guys, so
Yeah,
like they can't stop the easy picking or entangle.
Doing Annie Chopper is so good. I just wish it worked better.
Oh no, we were talking about the built to last. It was I think it was Elite Chopper, 1 die cannon, 1 die Annie, built to last.
Dang.
Yeah, something like that. Like, I think there's something you can do. Again, he's limited. I think there'll be something broken. We just haven't had enough time to figure it out. But his lightsabers. I'm way more excited about his lightsaber because with him, and that's just harder to find now without the lightsaber pulls and stuff.
Yeah, so
Lightsaber
Infinite's
pull
where it
gets
gets
reprinted
crazy.
or a guard gets reprinted. Oh man, it's gonna be.
Yeah, if guard gets reprinted, there's a lot of 3X sets to like really take advantage of. Guess like there potentially could be something with Mace. Did they drop Mace's points down, or is he still 16?
No, he's still 16.
If you were really looking to find it, that could be something to look at.
I don't think I'm looking that hard for that.
Yeah, I'm not looking that hard.
I just
Where
hate
don't
those
get the
dice.
extra- I won't play.
Go ahead.
I won't play Kanan without another Spectre. I think.
Yeah, no, he's too many points.
All right.
At 11, it's like okay. At 8 points, you're like that's fine. But more is like and he's Jedi, so you do get Discipline Mind. But we keep looking at like Youngling, built to last, and like Chopper setups.
Yeah, it's too bad. Is a Youngling an apprentice?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because Ezra isn't, which is like, but
He's trying to Jedi trials it now.
I'm just like, it'd be cool if they were both there. It'd be like give you some interesting options to do. They're both 16 points, so it leaves you a lot of room on the table to do stuff with.
I think Ezra should be an apprentice for sure.
Yeah.
You can do Elite Zep, Elite Cannon, and a 5-point Hoth Trooper. Let's go.
Sick. All right, let's talk about Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. 3 cost, 2x, 2x, plus 2x, 2 shield, resource, blank. Has redeploy. You discard this from play if you control Rey's lightsaber, because it's the same lightsaber. After you play this upgrade, give a character you don't control 1 shield, and then give a character 2 shields.
I think it's kind of bananas.
Yeah, how come?
Just from like the perspective, it's like okay, so it costs 3, fine. It's got the redeploy. It's like all right, now what did we get from it? And so you can give an opponent's character that you just don't care about 1 shield, and put 2 on the guy that they're attacking. So like it's, I'll pay you Tuesday for a burger today.
Yeah. Also, like, is this just? I mean, this is just straight up better than Rey's lightsaber in Reylo. Like, you just auto replace it. Throw those Rey sabers in the trash.
I mean,
no,
I
because
would run
Rey's
1-1.
gets the 2 shields straight up. So like that's a little different.
Yeah, but this does it when you put it on Kylo too, which is like what you want.
Usually, yes. I think in every non-Rey deck, I would have this before I had Rey's lightsaber. But with Rey, I would consider different varying options. I'd probably just run both.
I don't think I would in Reylo. I think that I would just straight up replace this. Other than the fact that my Rey's saber die only rolls 2x, I would straight up replace it.
It's a fair assessment there. Like you have to think about it. But like there's cool tricks where you give their blue guy the shield and then you dagger it back.
Yeah, or just like resolve the Kylo special.
Yeah.
Well, and Mike's saying he would take out the Rey. I think you play both. I think because you can overwrite them, and I can overwrite the Anakin Skywalker with a raise and get both where you can't do raise and raise. I think they're both worthy in that spot.
I don't know. You'd have to make a slot. You'd have to cut something. I don't know what I'd cut before I cut raise, but
yeah, there is a problem too. Whereas if you're running 2 of these, because you'd probably want this effect, then putting a raise as well is hard. Whereas before you might have only had 1 raise. So I could see where you're cutting raise and something else to run 2 of these.
Oh, I was saying if you have a Rey, then it's a 1-on-1 in my mind. If you don't, then I think it's Anakin's all.
Yeah, I'm just saying in my Reylo list, which I don't have, like I only play 2 3-cost weapons. I'm not cutting dagger, and I'm not cutting a 2-cost. So, I mean, I guess I could do what Call did and cut 1 Luke's protection for an upgrade and make it this.
Asshole.
That could work.
Shots fired.
His deck was way more refined, I think, though.
You guys are hassle.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's really good. It's got 4 2-sides, which is dope. 2 shield side is sick.
Yeah, it's really tough in that regard because like it's weird from a value perspective, right? Because each of the 2s you're resolving or each of the 5 sides is equivalent to a resource. So it's like, okay, cool. And you got 2 shields off the rip, giving them 1 shield that you probably don't care about. So you kind of got 1 resource worth off of the shields, and you only have to resolve it twice to have quote unquote paid for itself. So I think that's where it stands out most for me.
Yeah, and I think like a lot of the decks that it's gonna go in, or would specifically go in, want to give that shield, like either because it's Raylo or because the new Anakin, who
deals a shield. That's where it gets disgusting, right? And then like that guy's bad.
After you activate this character, you may discard a card from your hand to move 1 shield from a character to another character. Yeah. Then draw a card if you move the shield to an apprentice. So this like fuels his ability. But then of course there are just other ways to deal with it.
Yeah.
It looks pretty solid. Unblockable, you might do steadfast. Yeah.
He played this and got 2 more shields. I hated it. Like it was just too good.
Yeah, it's sweet.
I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, do you think it makes Anakin? And people were talking about how Anakin need more items to make himself work. Is this enough, or do we still need more to make him?
No, I think you need more. Like the big issue is that that's like saying, does Kanan's lightsaber make Kanan playable? And like, Kanan was already playable, and that would make him busted. I don't think Anakin's like playable currently. And that effect would be really good there, but you're going pretty deep to try to make that work. For anyone that just doesn't remember what Skywalker does, it's 1, 2, 4 for 1 shield resource blank, and he's 15-19 with 13 health. Like those die sides are atrocious.
Yeah.
Like you want the 2 and the 4 and nothing else. Like I guess sorry, I lied. You do want the resource, but not on your 19-point character. Like that not being a 2 resource side is proper because 2 resource sides are broken, and they learned this with Thrawn. But
you don't want to run 19 points.
Not for this shit. No.
Not for a resource.
Yeah.
There's got to be something to make you want to run a 19-point character, and this ain't it. Any other covert mission cards you want to talk about that either new or otherwise, just while we're on the topic?
No, but I'm interested to see what Running Onion. He said he found something broken. I've been looking at him like, man, what did he find? I can't find anything super broken, but he'll find something. I'm sure that was cool.
No idea, but Hera being leader pilot Spectre seems like there could be something at some point.
Yeah.
And the untapped vehicle thing just seems scary, right? Like,
Hera seems great. Yeah. I think she's really good.
She's a little steep at the non-elite point, but end game like untapping vehicles with mod upgrades is nuts.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that kind of goes. There's a lot of crazy stuff that you can do sometimes.
I'm excited for the full set spoiled.
The what?
Matt Holland said they're gonna have a full set spoiled within 11 days of LVO. So if that still happens,
it's supposed to be tomorrow then, yeah. So we'll see what happens.
Oh
no, sorry, my bad. I keep thinking
no.
I thought it was within 11 days of the set. That's why.
Yeah. No, it's like by the 16th, right?
Yeah, 16th, 15th.
No, it's like 14th, I think.
14th.
No, because they start on Friday. They have Friday and Saturday, and then the finals on Sunday.
All right, so next Monday then.
It should be the 24th, so 13th, yeah.
All right.
Next Monday, we'll be sitting here talking about our waiting queue again.
Yeah, I guess if we find out that it's definitely Monday, we could wait a day and podcast Monday night.
We could. All that speculation.
All right. Well, I think that's it for us, unless there's anything else specifically you guys want to talk about.
So Dappy will be there at Vegas. So if you guys are...
We have 3 more podcasts before then.
I know. But if you're patronies and you do some rewards, like let us know so we can get stuff to Dappy.
Oh yeah, sure.
Not
true.
Have to do crazy shipping stuff.
Yeah. Sounds good. Especially since I finally canceled my Stamps.com account.
Oh my God, yeah. So story, guys, because this is great. So Mr. Bobby Sapphire here had Stamps.com, and he told me he had Stamps.com, and like I've had Stamps.com before because I sold stuff on TCG Player and bought like $36,000 collections.
My wife was selling clothes, which is why she signed up for it originally with her money, and then when I started using it, I put my credit card in.
Yeah.
That was the downfall.
So we were talking about this. He's like, da-da-da-da. And I'm like, he's like, Stamps.com's free. And then I said that. I'm like, no, man, it's not. And then I just came back and I'm like, dude, you should check that. He's like, I will. And then he's like, what? How much was it per month? Like $13 or $25?
$18.
Yeah.
$18 a month for like, who knows how many years. But the thing is, my wife is the kind of person that will sign up for a gym and never go and pay for it for 19 years. You know what I mean? But like, oh, I'm just still paying that $20 a month gym from when I was 19 years old. Like, Meg,
Planet Fitness Black
you
Card.
need to cancel that. Like, that's $20 a month for 20 years. That's a lot of money. But because I didn't know it ever had a monthly cost, I just thought that when I added funds to it, it was taking it off my credit card. And I just never happened to notice a charge. I don't like religiously check my charges, but I do check them and I never notice it. I just got blown out. Who knows how much I spent? I don't want to know.
You heard it here, folks. Steal Bobby Sapphire's credit card information. He won't check it if it's under like $30 a month.
They did that commercial last night during the football game for Capital One that like the app will alert you. Like, did you make 2 purchases, identical purchases? I was like, yeah, dude. Mine would be like, did you make 19 purchases of $10 on League of Legends in a row? Like, yeah, that was me.
Yep.
Did you buy Starbucks coffee right now? Every morning, 2 Starbucks coffees, 2
Starbucks coffee for 724 days in a row? Yeah, that was me.
That was me.
Depressing.
You gotta really face your shame with that Capital One card.
No, but like I don't know. I like the text on it. It's really sweet. Every time I like swipe my card at Shaw's, it dings.
Nice.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
man, that'd be so annoying to me. But
No,
check
I want it, dude.
I check my finances all. I never.
It's
look at
annoying until you get like a message like, so I just had my email pop up and they're like, hey, did you try to recover your password in Miami, Florida? And I'm like, is Reflex on my account?
He lives in Orlando, so
I know.
no.
Hey man. The thing is, like they go off of wherever the internet server was. So like if he was somewhere close enough, it would have popped up as that potentially. I'm like, is he visiting Ed? But I don't know. But that's all we got for today.
All right.
This is the story.
Credit
Oh,
card.
you got something else?
No, I was just credit card hours over. I used to be really religious about checking my finances and like matching everything to the penny, and it made me good with money, but it was tedious, so I stopped doing it.
Yeah, as soon as you started swiping a lot and you had a wife, right?
No, I quit before then. It was because I was the type of person that would like have a summer job, make bank, and then I'd get back to college, and then in December all my money was gone. I'm like, how did that happen? I had like $13,000 in there, and it was all gone, and I couldn't live like that anymore.
See, I got it from the same thing from college. I was like, I would make my money and then I'd have to budget because I wouldn't make any more money during school. And I'm like, okay, if I have to make it 4 months through school, and if I don't budget, I'm gonna just be eating nothing for
Yeah. No, I just
Ramen.
swiped until it told me I had no more, and I was like, oh, this is horrible. Sell my body.
You did sell your body.
It was only once. All right, let's
wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
You guys have a good
once
one.
Once we start
Thanks for
getting into
watching.
Las Vegas stories, so we're gonna have to
The Bobby Sapphire lifestyle choices. Yeah.
implode the website. So, all right. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll be back at you next week.
Deuces.